presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black Horse. We are Florida.
It's Kid Sunday in Miami as the Marlins and the Athletics wrap up the series. Fox Sports Florida celebrates 75 years of Little League Baseball, and the Marlins share their journey.
It's usually the smell of like fresh cut grass always brings you back to being a kid.
You know, what it feels like to put on a major league uniform for that first time. You know, something that you've worked for and dreamed about since I was 4 years old.
Today, you can relive the dream. Go back to your childhood, back to Little League, and the Marlins and the A's do battle. On a Sunday in Miami. Come on out to Marlins Park. Oakland and Miami have played a very entertaining two-game series. The Athletics have won both games. Christian Yelich back for the Fish and in the leadoff spot on a Kid Sunday here. Giancarlo and the Marlins are going to try to win a game. And Andrew Heaney looks for his first Major League win. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Those were the days, weren't they, Hutton, in Little League? You Little Leaguers out there, I got news for you. In the big leagues, it's a cruel world. You go back the last 37 innings, the last 3 games for the Marlins. They've done a lot of things right, but they've done a few things wrong, and every time they do a little thing wrong, it costs them.
You used the term in the ball game yesterday, Rich, about the club having a lot invested, not only in the game yesterday, but in the 14-inning game in Philadelphia, and it's really frustrating to lose games like that.
Man, the 14-inning one yesterday, where Oakland won it. Okay, yesterday, the Marlins did not have Christian Yelich in their lineup. They've got him today, and they've got him in the leadoff spot. They've missed him.
Well, he was ready to go about a week ago. He played 4 games on rehab assignment, and boy, did they miss him in that leadoff spot. Missed a little power every once in a while. Christian Yelich, just before he was hurt in the 6 games prior, he was hitting over 400, so he was doing a lot of things. He was stealing bases. He's stolen 10 bases this year, 10 out of 11. So they're going to welcome Christian Yelich back. Happy to have him in that leadoff spot.
Watching these 2 games, it's easy to see why Oakland is the best team in baseball right now. It is a collective team effort. They do have some stars. One that was slumping coming into this series has had some big hits. He's going to be an all-star, Josh Donaldson.
Josh Donaldson, believe it or not, previous 17 games before this series was hitting 136. He's had a good series, the 3 hits, but he's driven in 4 runs. He had the game-winning RBI in the 14th inning in the ball game last night. One of 3 Oakland A's with over 50 RBIs. Yeah, you're right. Josh Donaldson's going to be in that all-star game.
So Miami tries to get a game out of this 3-game set with the Oakland Athletics on a Kid Sunday where we celebrate 75 years of Little League Baseball. Marlins and Athletics on a Kid Sunday in Miami. is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By AT&T Uverse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 800-PICK-AT&T. Mobilizing your world. By Checkers. Checkers brings big flavor for small price. Feed your craving for quality for only $1. Cha-ching. By Bluebell. Celebrate summer with Bluebell's newest flavor, Magic Cookie Bar. It's a home run. By your South Florida Honda dealers and sfhondadealers.com. We got to get us some of that Magic Cookie Bar. Here comes Andrew Heaney coming out of the bullpen, making his third big league start, hoping for a much better first inning than his first two starts. Let's head out to center field. Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini. Guys,
send an order of that Magic Cookie Bar over here as well, Rich. And good afternoon again, everybody, with Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini. The Marlins here trying to find something. Certainly Giancarlo has tried to spark him by spraying the ball all over the yard in every which way, and he's on a nice run.
Yeah, he's on a very nice run. He's become more of a complete hitter. His average up to 315 now, which for a big power hitter like he is very rare. See what he's done in the first half of this season. He's formed the 20-60 RBI club, 20 homers, 60 RBIs. Only 3 other Marlins in history at this point of the season have attained that mark.
He's only 3 homers and 2 RBIs from tying his totals from last season. Totals that should bring him hopefully a starting nod in the All-Star game. Go to Marlins.com. Get in your votes for your favorite Marlins, including Giancarlo. All right, Andrew Heaney taking the hill next on a Sunday afternoon.
Entertaining, tremendously frustrating for the Marlins. And the Marlins will go get him in this one. Oakland comes up with this lineup. Now, Athletics are battling some injuries themselves. J.M. Lexus brings you the lineup. Craig Gentry in center. Alberto Callaspo's in second. Yoenis Cespedes in left. Donaldson will hit fourth. Nate Fryman just up big right-handed bat. Brandon Moss, Nick Punto. Stephen Vogt will do the catching. Tommy Malone is on the mound. Josh Reddick placed on the disabled list for Oakland. Their right fielder is out. Derek Norris still has a sore lower back. He is out. Pinchy Penny brings you the first pitch. Andrew Heaney proceeds with caution. Tommy Hutton. We've seen Oakland light it up in the first inning of both games in this series.
Well, think about Andrew Heaney. He has had first inning problems in his 2 major league starts. So this is a big assignment. Tough matchup, and then also trying to just cool off this Oakland lineup. Remember, he gave up a home run to David Wright, his only run in that 1-0 loss, and he gave up a Marlon Byrd first inning home run in Philadelphia.
He's 2-0 on Gentry, who's got a lot of speed. Puts it in the air to right. Stanton approaches. And Giancarlo is there, and he makes the catch.
I think one of the things we saw in Andrew Heaney, as you kind of check out his numbers on the year, we saw him use the changeup a little bit more in the ball game in Philadelphia. So we'll watch for that, along with the slider. Of course, this year between AA and AAA, 7-2. ERA nicely situated, about 2.5.
Alberto Callaspo now, who gets the start at second base. This has truly been a team effort for Oakland. And both teams have had big moments. Falling behind, coming back, reclaiming leads, tying games, blown saves. But Oakland obviously has won both games. They scored 4 runs in the 9th in game 1, and of course outlasted Miami in 14 for a 7-6 win. Callaspo, one of those guys that has had his moment. He had a big RBI single in the 8th in yesterday's game. McGee cuts off the ground ball, and Heaney off to a good start so far.
That Casey McGee continues to play some really good defense. Just 3 errors, best percentage for National League third baseman. There's Reed Johnson. There's Christian Yelich back in the lineup. He's in center field. Stanton in right. Casey, Lucas, Solano, and Jeff Baker form the infield, and Jeff Mathis behind the plate.
Here is Cespedes. A big throw to the plate in game 1. Extended his hit streak to 12 with 2 hits yesterday. And left the ballpark with a large group of fans wearing a variety of Cespedes jerseys, from the Cuban national team to the Oakland Athletic jersey. He lives in Pompano in the offseason. His family down here in Miami. Cespedes fouls it back. Counts 0-2.
So he's had a wonderful stay. He had the off day on Monday, and he's had a successful series. 4 for 11 in the series.
Oh, 2 from Heaney, and he got him. Strikes him out. Well, Andrew Heaney gets over that first inning hurdle quite nicely with a 1-2-3 first. All right. On a hot and muggy day, AC blowing, roof closed, rolling windows shut, and Tommy Malone will face this lineup for the Fish, and it's brought to you by JM Lexus. Nice to have Christian Yelich back in that leadoff spot for Miami. With the lefty on the mound, you got Reed Johnson in left, Marcell Ozuna available to pinch hit, Giancarlo Stanton, Casey McGee, and Lucas sitting in that 5 spot. Jeff Baker behind him, Donovan Solano at second, Jeff Mathis doing the catching, and Andrew Heaney is in the 9 spot.
And And there is a look at Tommy Milone, the 27-year-old. You see his numbers. He's done a terrific job. He got off to a little bit of a slow start, but 5-0 in his last 9 games, last 9 starts with a 2.91 ERA. Not overpowering. He'll cut the ball. Good changeup. Usually throws strikes. Usually works fast.
Yelich bangs the pitch to right center. It's deep in the gap, and it's off the wall. On a hop, Gentry's got it. Yelich not stopping. Throw to third. He's in there with a triple. On his way home, Christian Yelich scores. Oh, is he back?
Boy, that brings a smile not only to Christian Yelich's face, but to all the Marlins fans. We talked about what he brings as a leadoff guy. He brings some power. Now he's able to show off a little of the speed. Was really played well by Gentry in center field. He took a peek. The throw kind of kicks off Yelich. He picks up the ball and travels the rest of the way and gives the Marlins a 1-0 lead.
It was Alberto Callaspo's throw that hit Yelich in the back. So a triple and an E4 and a 1-0 lead. And here is Reed Johnson. That ball traveled a long ways. And Yelich, as we've seen, is a lot faster than many people expect.
It's also good to see that that back is loosened up and is just fine.
Reed Johnson takes a strike. Johnson has had his moments in this series. It's really odd, Tommy, because there's been bit parts by different guys for Oakland and for Miami that have had big hits. For Johnson, the 2-run double yesterday. Miami fell in a 4-0 hole yesterday, facing Sonny Gray, who has been dynamite this year, and they climbed out of it, and Johnson's double off the wall and left the big reason why. He would have 2 more hits in extra innings as well. Did he swing? He swung, and the ball, I think, grazed his arm. It's a strikeout, and Johnson is out number 1. That one really tied him up. He couldn't keep that bat from coming across at the baseball.
Yeah, it was a big breaking ball down and in to Reed Johnson. Talked about Milone with the changeup, and then he'll come down and in with that pitch.
I see it hit him in the foot.
Hit him in the foot, but he swung.
And that's the rule. If you swing and it hits you, it's a strike.
As a right-hander, Rich, this is a guy you really have to think right center. If you try to pull Tommy Milone, you're going to play right into his hand.
Which is what we've seen Giancarlo Stanton do for the last 7 to 10 days, is drive the ball to right center. And Milone misses down low. He's been very cautious with Stanton. The count is 3-0. Stanton's numbers on the homestand, he's 5 for 10. Couple runs, a double. As Tommy pointed out, he's over 400 against lefties, and Milone knows that. He can read the notes too. And he walks Stanton.
Take a look at the defense for the Athletics in this one today. 10 assists in left field from Cespedes. Gentry in center. Brandon Moss goes to right field. Punto and Donaldson on the left side. The veteran Nick Punto. Alberto Callaspo has done a nice job at second base and offensively. Nate Fryman gets the start at first base. We'll tell you a little bit more about him. And Vogt behind the plate. Stephen Vogt.
Casey McGee now. You've got Stan at first. Be aware, Tommy Milone has a very good move to first.
That's the one thing with all the advanced scouting, with all the video, teams are able to really see that firsthand instead of somebody just telling you, hey, he's got a good move.
McGee couldn't check, and it's 0-2. Now McGee had just one hit yesterday, but it was an enormous one. It was in the ninth. The Marlins facing Sean Doolittle, who was on a record run, not giving up a run. Stanton had doubled, and McGee lined a single into right center field. And Miami tied it, and on to extras they went.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Rich. A lot of players have contributed in many ways with big hits on both sides. Then again, Casey McGee's done that all year.
Counts 1-2. End of the bat. Malone has it, fires out to second, and Oakland turns the double play. But Miami's on the board first in this one. Christian Yelich is back. A triple. Hey, on a Little League Sunday, why not? A Little League home run. How about that?
Miami Marlins Béisbol en español está disponible por Zap.
Kid Sunday here at Miami. We celebrate 75 years of Little League Baseball. Josh Donaldson, Nate Fryman, and Brandon Moss climb in against Andrew Heaney. Pair of lefties. Heaney throws a little bit harder than Tommy Malone, but both are control guys. Heaney with a really good slider to go along with the fastball.
Yeah, I think the difference, you probably see more changeups from Malone, more sliders from Andrew Heaney.
Donaldson climbs in. After 2 hits yesterday, they were both in extra innings. He fouls that one back. His hit in the 14th drove in the eventual winning run. He had 3 RBIs in game 1. So he's over that hurdle, that first inning hurdle. And a 9-pitch first. And a 1-2 to Donaldson. That's beautiful. Perfect. Donaldson looking for something else.
Well, you talk about free and easy and just a good command and control with that fastball. That was beautiful.
Nate Fryman now stands in. Fryman is a big right-handed bat. Played his baseball at Duke. Had a real nice run last year for Oakland against lefties. And when he runs into it, it stays runned in too. He can really bang it.
But you look at his approach, where he gets that bat, he wiggles it around.
Popped him up. Solano calling. And he makes the catch. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hey, Rich, thank you very much. Christian Yelich, exciting things in the bottom of the first. He's out in the outfield, but he's not using the glove he normally uses, his regular glove. He told us before the game he was going to use Jake Marisnick's glove, though I'm not sure because the one he showed us was a lighter model, but that appears to say Big Fudge on it. Here's the reason. Unfortunately, on his flight home, his glove was stolen somewhere, either in Nashville or in Miami, and this is the missing glove. So if you see it, last known location, last seen in Nashville, write the Marlins and find out where this glove is. He said somewhere, he knows he checked it because he had a couple of New Orleans hats in with his glove. He got here to the clubhouse just before the ball game last night, looked in it, and all of a sudden, no glove.
What airline did he fly?
You know what? I'm not sure what airline, but that's a good question.
You know what? You just don't steal a guy's gamer.
Well, the gamer. I mean,
the gamer.
The other thing is, we said, well, why didn't you carry it on? He said, you know what? I should have. So here's the catch is Jake Marisnick's one of the minors, but after the game he's talking. Jake said, take my glove. But guys, the one he showed us was lighter, so I'm not sure. I'm going to have to find out which glove he wound up using. He didn't have one ready. But yep, the gamer is gone. We'll find out the airlines. Nashville to Miami. I'm thinking Delta. I'm not sure.
3-0 to Brandon Moss. To take that story a step further, yesterday, the Tacoma Rainiers, AAA team of Seattle, flew in, I believe, to El Paso to play a game, and the airline lost all of their equipment, uniforms, and bats. They couldn't play the game that night. They have located that AAA team's equipment, and I think they're playing a day-night doubleheader today.
I don't know if you remember this. It doesn't happen. I haven't seen it happen in a while because travel plans are a little different. But there used to be, you'd see a game or two a year where the umpires would have makeshift outfits on. They'd have something from the visiting team, something from the home team, because their equipment didn't make it to the city.
Umpires travel commercially. Teams travel on charters. But when players get called up and down, like Craig was talking about with Yelich, you're on a commercial flight. Here's Punto. The versatile infielder finds himself at shortstop. Oakland giving Jed Lowry and Coco Crisp a day off. As we mentioned earlier, Josh Reddick placed on the disabled list. That hyperextended knee is giving him issues. Derek Norris with the back injury is still day-to-day.
The Reddick had been on the disabled list earlier with the same knee issue.
Marcell Ozuna's hamstring. Some call it a cramp, some call it a tweak.
Well, I was told he did some nice running drills before the game, and if needed, he is available.
Here's the 1-1. And it's up. Marlins finally get an off day tomorrow before the Phillies arrive. Henderson Alvarez gets the ball on the Tuesday night. Oakland's been quite a trip. They've had a couple days off on the trip. One in New York, one in Miami. Up the middle, into center field. That's a base hit. Yelich charges and picks it up. And Moss and Punto, 2 out hits for Oakland. Stephen Vogt comes up. Oakland continues on this trip from the Mets to the Marlins to the Tigers. They open a 3-game series in Detroit tomorrow night.
A couple of batters where Andrew Heaney's fallen behind had to come in and get quality hitters like Moss and Punto. They've put together back-to-back singles.
Now Vogt in these entertaining 2 ball games, as we pointed out. It seems like every player has had a big moment, and for Oakland, their 3-headed monster of catchers. All 3 catchers have played. Norris hurt his back, remember, in game 1 on Friday night. Vogt came in. He was 2 for 3 with a big hit in the 9th inning. Rolls it to the second baseman Solano. And John Jaso started yesterday. Jaso had 3 hits. Heaney gets to the second as well. 1-0 Miami. Celebrate today, and from all over the globe, players arrive to play in the major leagues, and their dreams start young. 1-0 Miami on top of Oakland as the Fish go to work in the bottom of the second inning. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, and Jeff Conine.
And Marcell Ozuna does play still like a kid.
Tommy Milone. Ozuna watching this one. If you weren't with us yesterday, Ozuna left with some sort of a cramp or a tweak of the right hamstring. He gets today off. As Tommy pointed out, he can pinch hit. And the thinking is give him a day off here because he gets 2 days off. Miami finally, after a long stretch of games, has a day off tomorrow.
Yeah, we talked about it at the very beginning, a stretch of 17 consecutive games. Unfortunately, the Marlins have gone 5-11 during the first 16 games of this stretch, with some tough losses.
The losses don't get much tougher than Miami has experienced in the last 37 innings and 3 games in 3 days. Breaking ball is outside. It's 1-1 to Lucas. A lot of right-handed bats in there against Tommy Milone. Lucas pulls that one foul.
Now, you don't usually see Ed Lucas in the number 5 spot. First time he started there this year. He did last year start 20 games as the number 5 hitter, but he's had great success against lefties.
Milone, since his arrival from the Nationals organization, has been part of Oakland's rotation. He made 31 starts in 2012. Last year, 26 starts. He's had a nice start to his career, Tommy. His ERA is under 4. He's 31-22. Came over in the Gio Gonzalez trade. Gio threw a gem yesterday against the Cubs. There's that devastating changeup that he's got, and it strikes out Lucas. So an out here in the second. Marlins and Phillies open up the series on Tuesday. You get half-price tickets on the Lexus Legends level, baseline reserve, bullpen reserve, and home run porch. It's the Miami Herald's half-price Tuesday. For full details, pick up the Tuesday edition of the Miami Herald or El Nuevo Herald. There's Baker.
Been a rough go for the veteran Jeff Baker, who did have a big hit the other night, the first game of this series, put the Marlins ahead. Remember, he got off to a slow start in April. The month of May, Jeff Baker hit .395. but has struggled here in June, just 3 for 30.
Malone misses in, and it's 2-1. So the Marlins get Yelich back, and hopefully Ozuna back on Tuesday. Jake Marisnick sent back down to New Orleans. Shift is on for Baker. You can see Callaspo up the middle, and he makes the play. Malone's got 2 outs.
Yeah, the Marlins optioning back Anthony DeSclafani along with Jake Marisnick. And then to help out that bullpen, lefty Dan Jennings is back, along with activating Christian Yelich.
Solano. Donovan Solano has had a few big moments in this series with the glove. He's made some terrific plays playing at shortstop. Marlins still without Adeiny Echeverria. He's on the disabled list.
Had an RBI single in the second inning yesterday. The Marlins 3-run inning.
Solano an RBI double as well when Miami came back and tied the game on Friday night. Ball and a strike. So both teams a little banged up, and you would expect on a Sunday after a long 14-inning ball game where a lot of relievers were used, neither manager has a full complement in his bullpen.
Yeah, there are a few guys that Mike Redmond's going to stay away from, and there are a few guys that Bob Melvin will stay away from.
One and 2 to Solano. Malone trying to catch the corner, and he misses out. It's 2-2. The University of Southern California, 10th round pick by the Nationals in 08.
You mentioned that deal, Gio Gonzalez going to the Nationals. Derek Norris also came to Oakland. So pretty good trade for them. They've gotten a solid starting pitcher. They've got themselves a catcher who's having a really productive year.
I would guess if Tommy Malone threw 93 and topped out there, he wouldn't have been a 10th round pick. Ground ball. Callaspo spinning. No, yeah, I think he got it. Terrific pick by Malone. And I think his foot was on the bag as he came across. Mike Redmond trots out to start the process of reviewing the video. Joe West, the first base umpire. Rob Leary, Miami's bench coach, is on the phone.
If this is an out, it's an incredible play because you saw the first baseman diving. Fryman was diving. Callaspo went deep, and then watch the pick by Malone. Pick and step. Wow.
has looked sharp. AT&T fan photo, hashtag it FL fan photo when you tweet it. Your chance to have it on the telecast. Our blue ribbon panel of judges. That is not the blue ribbon panel, but a fine licking quartet there. Blue ribbon panel will review it, and if it passes all the tests, you might just appear on the telecast. Might just be on this one. Here's Tommy Milone. Milone, who has appeared in this series as a pinch hitter.
Has 4 career hits, and actually in just 20 at-bats. His first major league at-bat, he homered against Dylan G.
It's back in 2011.
I think we've seen he's a pretty good athlete. We saw him start a double play. Good catch and throw. We saw him make that play at first base, which was tremendous.
Are there any soft tossing lefties, and I think you could put him in kind of in that category, that are not good athletes? I mean, think about
it. They seem to always be.
Randy Wolf was just here. Mark Burley,
Jamie Moyer,
good athlete. They almost have to have that little something extra to help them. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Easy, easy, easy.
Heaney spins and gets the out at first.
I think you heard Jeff Mathis, the catcher, yelling easy, easy, easy. And a lot of time. Don't rush it. They're getting some help from the veteran catcher.
Greg Gentry coming to the plate. Gentry, the top of the order. A lot of speed. Drops down a bunt. McGee not going to get him. And that should be a base hit. Heaney will be tested trying to keep Gentry close.
Do or die play. Gentry does what he wanted to. He wanted to make the third baseman, Casey McGee, field it. Only chance for Casey was to barehand and fire, and he just mishandled. So a base hit should be a bunt single. It is.
Oakland as a team doesn't have a great number of stolen bases, but they're very, very successful. 47 of 56. Ground ball first. Baker got it. Fair ball. Gentry in a rundown. 1 out already. Baker running and got it. Nicely done. Baker got the immediate out at first. Hung Gentry up, and Heaney sails through the third.
Got an infield home run, and I slid into home plate, and the ball hit me in the chest, and it knocked the air out. Ironically, I didn't really remember the home run as much. I was just like, am I okay? You know, like, because I couldn't breathe for so long. I love baseball because you're outside. I love the outdoors, but it's a hard game. It's not an easy game, and you can always get better.
You can share those dreams with us. Hashtag Catch the Dream. Mike Dunn in Miami's bullpen. Dunn is available to pitch, though there are a few guys that the Marlins would like to stay away from.
Seeing him hit there as a little kid, remember he was drafted as a position player. Doesn't get a chance to swing the bat too often now.
Heaney gets a chance to swing it here in this inning. Jeff Mathis will lead it off. Christian Yelich due up third. If you're just happening by, a couple things of note have happened here. Number one, Andrew Heaney got through the first inning without giving up A, a run, or B, a home run, as he sailed through the first against this Oakland club that has put up 6 runs combined in games 1 and 2 in the first inning. The other thing that happened is Christian Yelich blasted one off the right center field wall for a triple and then scored on the throw as it bounced off of him. And that's the only run of the ball game. Tommy Malone and Jeff Mathis. Mathis fouls it back.
Yeah, that run, the Marlins run, an unearned run, because Reed Johnson struck out after Stanton walked. Case McGee hit into a double play. So had Yelich still been at third, he would have been there when the inning ended.
Mathis has had some moments in this series as well. Go back to Friday, he doubled, drove in a run with a sharp ground ball. And then he was the last guy available, position player, for Mike Redmond, and came in and had a walk in a really tight spot to give the Marlins the bases loaded and 1 out in the bottom of the 14th. And that's when Bob Melvin went to his lefty Jeff Francis, who struck out Jared Saltalamacchia, which was the big out of that inning. Donovan Solano would hit a fly ball out to deep right center to end the ball game.
Yeah, he had bases loaded, 1 out. Saltalamacchia looking for contact and wasn't able to get it. And Mathis got a break there.
That's a pretty good pitch. As it always turns out, you don't get the call, and the hitter turns right around and hurts you.
One thing, the Marlins have some hitters in the lineup, guys who aren't in there every day, who hit lefties well. Ed Lucas, Jeff Mathis. We've told you how Stanton has crushed lefties at an over 400 clip. But good job by Mathis there.
And it sets up pretty well because you've got Heaney now with Yelich and Johnson after him. If Heaney can drop down the bunt, give Miami a runner in scoring position.
Heaney 0 for 4 in his young career, looking for his first sacrifice bunt, too.
Donaldson creeping in at third. What? If Heaney had any kind of bat control.
You're thinking just like me, Rich.
Donaldson was so close, and the shortstop, Nick Punto, was standing at second. All Heaney has to do is just slap it on the ground, and he would have himself a hit. Drops the bunt down. Malone spins and gets.
Or, as I've talked about so often, just get it out softly, even if it's toward the mound. Because if your runner gets a good jump, and Mathis got a good jump, 90% of the time you're going to get the job done. You don't have to be perfect. Just get it out there. Even though Malone's a good fielder, with Mathis getting a good jump, he was able to get to second base. So good job by Andrew Heaney. I think sometimes pitchers try to be too perfect with sacrifice bunts.
So here's Yelich now. On the second pitch he saw, he blasted it 405 feet from home plate, off the wall and right. Was thinking triple all the way. What? He hit a fastball. Malone throws him a breaking ball for strike one. Getting Yelich back should help provide what Mike Redmond has had at times, and that is depth in his lineup. because suddenly you've got Yelich getting on base, and a guy that, too, when he comes up in a spot like this, could drive in a run.
And how many times did we see Yelich up there giving you a good at bat? Getting deep into counts.
It's 1-1 here. And that fastball jammed him. Yelich injured his back. The term that you hear a lot is that it locked up on him. And for the first 2 or 3 days after the injury, he was in bad shape. Marlins put him on the disabled list. He was able to get down both to Jupiter and New Orleans, get in some games, swing the bat. And so he walks back into the lineup, still swinging it pretty well.
Well, he had a 5-game hitting streak, and then the one at bat he had in the game he was injured made him 5 out of 6.
Back to Malone, runner caught, running for third, and he's going to get there. Yelich, big turn. He dives back to first. Wow. Oakland had opportunities to get an out in a variety of spots, and they didn't get any.
First of all, another well-hit ball by Yelich. Hard one-hopper to Malone. He does the right thing, but he doesn't run at Mathis. If he had to do it over again instead of throwing, Mathis does a great thing. As soon as he sees Malone uncork the throw, he takes off for third. What Malone should have done, and he'll think about this, if you get it, you run at the runner and try to chase him back to second base. And in the meantime, Yelich made it to first. It'll be a fielder's choice.
And Bob Melvin would add to that probably a bad choice. Reed Johnson now.
Because with Yelich's speed, once Punto, the shortstop who got the ball, once he realized he couldn't get Mathis, it was too late to get Yelich at first.
And Yelich took a wild turn, thinking he was going to have to get to second in the middle of that rundown, only to look up and see Mathis safe at third, and he had to put the brakes on and got back. Oh, right back to him, and Malone doubles him off. Johnson hit it on the nose. Malone made the catch, and Oakland gets the double play. And the third inning comes to a close quickly. Last sequence. It seems like Malone's been involved defensively in some big plays already.
Yeah, he's had an impact in this ball game with the 3 terrific plays.
Marlins and Phillies. Remember, it's a 3-game series. It starts on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, kids eat free. 7:10 start. Every child 12 and under with a ticket gets coupon for a free KM Beef Frank, bag of Frito-Lay chips, and a small Pepsi or Aquafina water. Marlins.com. The place to go for tickets. Well, in this ballgame, Andrew Heaney has been effective. He's worked quickly. He's thrown just 33 pitches in 3 innings. You get some big bats here in Cespedes, Donaldson, and Fryman.
Well, we've talked about this Oakland club. We mentioned the Marlins' struggles in June. The Athletics are 16-8 in the month of June.
Cespedes struck out. The breaking ball from Heaney is a strike.
Struck out on a fastball back in the first inning.
One pitch ripped in the air to right, and Stanton is there to make the catch. Let's go down to Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, Rich, we just checked in. The glove that Mr. Yelich is wearing is not of his pal Jake Marisnick, Big Fudge, but he borrowed, it appears, Ed Lucas's glove to play here today. We'll have to find out why he made the switch, but I guess Eddie came through. Maybe the other glove wasn't broken in quite as well as Ed Lucas's. And by the way, in case you're wondering, he does have another glove, but he just got it recently, not broken in well enough, his model, to play in the game today.
All right, thank you, Craig. Hopefully they locate that glove. You know, Tommy, you can put in a claim when something is taken out of your bag or lost by an airline. So how do you put a value on your gamer?
Good luck with that one. That's not.
I could just hear him on hold with the airline.
Yeah, but it's my gamer.
We'll send you a certificate for a glove, Mr. How do you say it? Yelich? That's my gamer, lady.
Here, you can use this certificate at Sports Authority. Go for it.
0-2. And Donaldson takes down low. Donaldson called out on strikes in the second.
Yeah, that's a good matchup, and so far Andrew Heaney has met the challenge. Big 12 Conference Pitcher of the Year in 2012.
Donaldson has great sound effects when he swings. I don't know if you've caught that during this series, but a great exhale.
And they're ones you don't have to apologize for.
Not yet. When he swings, you can hear the full force coming out. Joe West says no swing.
And Joe West probably has some stories about umpires' luggage getting lost. That was close.
Swing and a miss. And Heaney strikes him out. Mathis gets the out at first. Donaldson has struck out twice. And here comes Fryman.
Got him to chase that slider down and in, and a good play by Jeff Mathis to handle it and throw him out.
With Reddick on the disabled list, Oakland hustling to get Fryman here and in the lineup.
previous 2 starts for Andrew Heaney, one against the Mets, the one in Philadelphia, Jared Saltalamacchia was the catcher. So Jeff Mathis handling him today.
Marlins had a lot of wild pitches in that ball game. Fryman, the big Dookie, 43 home runs at Duke, most in school history. His wife Amanda, a professional golfer, been on the LPGA tour since 2006.
He's had big years in the minor leagues. It's just a matter of getting the right fit, and the A's seem to be the right fit. He's had a couple of minor league seasons where he's hit over 20 home runs and driven in over 100.
Oakland picked him off waivers. He was in the Houston organization, and in Houston his numbers were huge. 24 homers, 105 RBIs, 31 doubles in that 2012 season. High pop, long run, and Stanton gets there. He got there eventually.
Boy, he's graceful
and arrived just in time. Florida, presented by Palmetto 57 Nissan and Palmetto 57 Volkswagen, home of your money back guarantee, and by the Florida Department of Transportation, who reminds you to drive sober or get pulled over. In Miami, a gorgeous day.
Look at the cruise ship heading out.
One of these days we'll be able to call a game from a cruise ship. That would be the ultimate. Especially after 37 innings in 3 days. 3 gut-wrenching losses. 2 14-inning games. Here is Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton walked back in the first, and Malone didn't give him anything close. And he got one there. Stanton kind of a half-hearted swing. It's the fastball at 87 miles an hour.
I was real happy to read about the Major League record the Marlins established, having had 5 losses in a month of 13 innings or more. I was just happy to have been part of that Major League record.
Don't count your chickens because it's June 29th.
I know Mike Redmond wasn't. They've been gut-wrenching for him and his staff, too.
Stanton, a little dribbler. Donaldson picks and throws in one motion and gets the out. So Malone gets Stanton. You got McKee and Lucas coming up. It's never happened. That's amazing. First team in Major League history in a month.
They've actually had 6 extra inning games. The other one was a win, a 10-inning 3-2 win against the Pirates.
funny, only Oakland has played more extra inning games, 14 of them. McGee really got tied up. That's it speaks to Malone's secondary stuff that he could tie a hitter like McGee up with an 87-mile-an-hour fastball. Maybe his secondary stuff is actually his primary stuff.
Yeah, he gets you thinking, the off-speed stuff. And one of the notes when I was reading about him in the scouting report, impeccable control. You read that, and he has had that. Just one walk. Really looked like he didn't want to pitch to Stanton in the first inning.
See the pitch speed range, 88 is where he's topped out on the fastball. Here's Lucas. A Christian Yelich triple. And on the play, a throwing error by Alberto Callaspo. That's the only run of the ball game.
Now, the last time out for Malone, he gave up a couple of home runs. He went just 5 innings against Boston. Napoli and Ross, David Ross homered. Actually, those two homered last night for the Red Sox against Tanaka.
Both good players.
Yeah, to beat the Yankees 2-1. Great game by John Lester. It was actually one of the rare Yankee Red Sox games that was under 3 hours. Both pitchers were tremendous.
Speaking of lefties, we've got a pair in this one. One of our favorite lefties is throwing today, looking for his 11th win. Mark Burley is at home against his old club, the White Sox, and losing 2-0. Burley gave up a home run to Moises Sierra of the White Sox. I saw Sierra, and all I could think of is Ruben.
Remember Ruben Sierra? Switch hitter, a lot of years with the Rangers.
He had a few years with Oakland and it didn't go well. In fact, if I remember correctly, Ruben Sierra, while a member of the Athletics, criticized Sandy Alderson and called him gutless, which prompted Tony La Russa to give him the nickname the Village Idiot. Throw to first. Sierra apparently didn't know that Alderson was a decorated war veteran.
We go to the 5th inning. It is always a pleasure each and every year to talk with Virginia Jacko, the president and executive director of the Miami Lighthouse for the Blind, a great charity partner for the Marlins who have really teamed up to help out in a large way. Also with us is executive Bert Gonzalez. First, Virginia, I know it's great for you to come out and support the Marlins, and most importantly, the Marlins to help the Lighthouse for the Blind.
Most important, yes, we love the Marlins and the Marlin Foundation. Because of the Marlins, children who need an eye exam and prescription glasses and do not have the ability in their family to see a doctor, but they failed their exam at the school when they were screened, they will get the eye exam and glasses that they need. So it's wonderful being a charity partner of the Marlins.
It's a program that has reached 7,500 needy children in the area, Bert, and you guys do a various each year, yearly thing.
And I myself have personally benefited, myself and my family. We started in 2005 when my son entered the Blind Babies program, and they did such a wonderful job that I stayed on board, and thanks to Virginia, I'm now a board of director, and it's been a wonderful organization.
Virginia, if there are people out there who may be needy, is there a way for them to contact you and possibly get help?
Our website is www.miamilighthouse.org. So again, the website is www.miamilighthouse.org. And all the content that one would need to contact us for our various programs is there. Okay. Our main phone number is 305-856-2288.
856-2288, 305. The Touch Tour, we have your group coming back, which is always exciting. And there's going to be a beat ball tournament this year where children who cannot see will play against interns who will be blindfolded.
That's right. Everybody will get to experience the fun game of baseball where the people who can see will be blindfolded, and they'll play with some folks that are with low vision or no vision. And everybody should have a great time. And then we also have the time where they come here to the stadium, and they will have a wonderful sensory experience where they get to feel around all of the different parts of the stadium, and that should be wonderful as well.
Thanks a lot for your time, Virginia. Always good seeing you.
Always good.
And go Marlins, right?
Go Marlins. Yes, indeed.
Back to you guys.
Broken bat. Baker skips out of the way as it rolls out into right field. That was a expensive at bat in terms of broken bats. Brandon Moss had a couple of them sawed off in his hands.
Well, I'll tell you what, that bat head flew by Baker as he's settling under to catch the pop fly. Watch the head of the bat. There's Baker. Okay, I let it go by. A little sidestep. And then makes the grab.
There's Nick Punto now. Stephen Vogt also due up in the fifth. Punto had a single back in the second.
Well, what an efficient performance, too, from Andrew Heaney. What? Pitch number 55 right there.
Another base hit for Punto, who's 2 for 2. And that brings up the number 8 hitter, Stephen Vogt. Also arriving is the Toyota Trend, best and worst. Best record in the American League versus lefties. Oakland, lowest average in the American League versus lefty. Oakland, so go figure. And then the thing about Oakland is, just in watching it for 2 days, they can bunch the hits together. They may go an inning or two without getting a hit, and then all of a sudden they get 3 in a row and get a couple runs.
The other thing about Oakland is that their individual numbers and their record don't really fit with some of their team numbers, where they stand in the league. I mean, they're middle of the pack in batting average.
Out.
Ah, great throw.
Got him. Punto is out on a snap throw by Mathis. No argument from either Ty Waller, the first base coach, or Punto.
Well, Punto spent a lot of time in the American League. He knows Mathis, and what a quick throw from his knee, and a great tag by Jeff Baker as well. Watch the tag. Turns around, gets it right on him before that hands on the bag. That's a nice quick out, a good feeling for a pitcher. But they're middle of the pack in hitting. They're middle of the pack, a little bit below in fielding. They do lead the league in ERA.
Fouled at the plate. What they do quite well is score. They're very efficient at getting runners over and in. They lead the majors in walks, runs scored, on base percentage, and they hit a lot of home runs, Tommy, 88. Of course, they have a lights-out closer in Doolittle. Andrew Heaney threw 5. Very smooth.
Always brings you back to being a kid. And for some reason, the haze that the lights bring, and when the game starts, there's that little haze that the lights bring, a foggy kind of feel. That for some reason always brings me back to being a kid, because the lights weren't as good when we played, so they kind of brought the haze on its own. And living right off the water in California, that's the night fog. So
75 years of Little League Baseball here at Fox Sports Florida. Today on this Kids Sunday, we celebrate things. Hashtag Catch the Dream if you want to share us on Twitter. The Gecko. I don't know if he played Little League Baseball, but he brings you the Geico quote of the day. Cal Ripken Jr. You can be a kid for as long as you want when you play baseball. Even if you broadcast baseball.
I was just going to say, even if you broadcast. So Stanton, it sounds like, had to deal with the marine layer even as a kid. You know, we talk about that when we're in L.A. and San Diego.
Stanton earlier this year talking about when he was a kid, when he first realized he had power, was when he actually got to play on a field where there was a fence. Many times in Little League or Pony League, Bronco League, whatever leagues you were playing in as kids, different areas have different leagues. Many of the fields are connected and there's no outfield fence.
And sometimes a gapper would trickle into another game. That's what's going on in one of the other fields.
Here's Baker. And Stanton said he didn't realize he had big power until he finally got to play on a field that had a fence. And suddenly all his fly balls were going out.
And he realized he was the only one hitting him over the fence.
Jeff Baker, Donovan Solano, Jeff Mathis against Tommy Malone. Malone has been efficient and effective. He'd like to have the one pitch back in the first, the Yelich triple. Lots of ground balls. And a few balls that were headed in his direction as well. Gentry. Out number 1 at the bottom of the 5th. This telecast is presented by the authority of the Marlins. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Unless it goes 14. If it goes 14, you can disseminate it all you want.
You can do more than that.
Here's Solano. Pushing a bunt, first base side, and the throw is high, and Solano left turn on his way to second. If Nate Fryman can't catch it, are they going to call Solano out? He's out. They're calling Solano out for running inside the base path?
Well, was he within that 45-foot line, which is always tough to do. That's because when you come out of the batter's box, you're just not there. And if it interfered with the throw, he is inside. And so in the judgment of the umpires,
that's normally the home plate umpire's call. He's definitely inside the line as he initially goes up the line. Question is, when does he get into the base path?
He's on the grass right there, and when he throws the ball, he's still in that area. And so in the umpire judgment, that interfered with the throw from Stephen Vogt, the catcher.
And it's tough to argue that one. He never got into the running path, which is to the right of the baseline.
Well, it's a great thought and effort, though, by Donovan Solano to try to reach base that way. I think it'd be just to put out to the catcher, wouldn't it be? 2 unassisted.
Mathis now. Slow roller. Callaspo gathers it and gets the out, and Malone is cruising right now. It's a 5-pitch inning. Baseball's best gather in Minnesota for the 2014 All-Star Game. 7:30 on Fox. Special coverage begins 4:30 on Fox Sports 1. Andrew Heaney and the Marlins a 1-0 lead. We've had all-star discussion about both teams during this series. Giancarlo Stanton 4th right now, the National League All-Star outfield, and that voting should be updated in the next 24 hours.
As we've talked about, though, you brought it up, a good point, a candidate, if he still is in 4th place, to start in the lineup as the designated hitter.
Josh Donaldson leading at 3rd base for Oakland. Derek Norris is 2nd among catchers. And the leader is Matt Wieters, and Wieters is out with an elbow injury. So Oakland has a shot at catcher, and you would think that Sean Doolittle is a shoo-in out of the bullpen as well. Here's Malone, and he leads it off in the 6th.
Boy, to this point, what a super job by Andrew Heaney after he got through that first inning. Got over that first inning hump, and he has settled in and been on target.
A swing and a miss. Down goes Malone. Both these lefties are giving their managers exactly what they want, and that is not only good pitching, but a low pitch count going into this inning. Malone, just like Heaney, economical. 59 pitches. Heaney now with an out here, 63 pitches. Gentry, breaking ball for a strike.
Remember, Gentry bunted for a base hit back in the 3rd inning.
Colorado has put 3 on the board against Giovanni Gallardo in Milwaukee. 3-0. First inning. Pittsburgh has scored first against the Mets.
Yeah, they put some up against Bartolo Colon.
3-0 Pittsburgh in the top of the 3rd. And Atlanta leads Philly 2-1. Boy, both Atlanta and Washington had big days yesterday. Sweeping doubleheaders. Liner to right. Stanton is there, and he makes the catch. Combined with the Marlins' agonizing loss, the Fish have dropped 4 off the pace in the East, and Atlanta and Washington are tied. Coors Banquet timeless moment. 2 no-hitters are thrown on the same day. Dave Stewart of the Athletics followed Fernando Valenzuela. 3rd time in baseball and only time this century.
I enjoy it when I can say I was a part of one of those. The Dave Stewart one was in Toronto against the Blue Jays.
You were working on Toronto television?
Yes.
Who was your partner?
Don Chevrier.
Callaspo singles into left. That'll bring up Cespedes now with 2 outs. Top of the 6th. Cespedes and Oakland headed to take on Detroit. Miami an off day, and then the Phillies are here. Marlins would try to exact a little bit of revenge for that 14-inning loss on Thursday night. The Fish just split a 4-game series with the Phillies before coming back here to face Oakland.
The Phillies haven't announced their rotation. Not sure if they have Monday off or if they play. But the Marlins could see A.J. Burnett. They could see Hamels again.
Broken bat. Stanton plays it on a hot runner on his way to 3rd. And he'll get there. Callaspo hustles. And Cespedes gives Oakland their best opportunity yet. It brings up Donaldson with runners at the corners.
And extends his hitting streak to 13 straight games. Good pitch. Down, away, off the end of the bat. The bat shatters. It's one of those, if he hit it well, he probably hits it right to Stanton. But because it was a broken bat base hit, it dropped in front of Giancarlo, who made a good play, by the way, to keep that ball in front of him.
Phillies are off tomorrow. Washington opens a series against Colorado up in D.C., and Atlanta hosts the Mets.
So Buchanan, who the Marlins saw is pitching today, Burnett followed him, and Hamels followed Burnett. So that's who the Marlins could see.
Now Donaldson. Heaney trying to protect a 1-0 lead.
But we know one thing. Henderson Alvarez will pitch the first game for the Marlins against Philadelphia.
Marlins have won the last 8 games that Alvarez has started. He's been able to command both sides of the plate with the fastball. That's a great example. That pitch there. That's the same pitch that he struck Donaldson out looking in the 2nd arm.
A lot of times his strikeout pitch is that slider that's in the dirt. He's going to need the help of Jeff Mathis if he goes with that pitch here. And crossed up Donaldson, who fought it off. He went with the fastball.
Ball strike ratio. 76th pitch coming. Oakland bunches hits together better than anybody in the big leagues. And they've bunched a couple here with Callaspo and Cespedes.
That's one of those things, Rich. I don't know. How do you teach that? You don't really teach that.
And they get another one and a run. Donaldson drives it into left. We've seen it all 3 games, Tommy. Oakland, even with an out or 2 outs, all of a sudden 3 hits, 4 hits. All in a row.
Well, in this rally coming with 2 out. Great at bat by Donaldson. He goes down and gets that slider. But Callaspo, Cespedes, and now Donaldson with those consecutive hits tie the game.
Fryman launches one left field and deep and gone. And that's why Nate Fryman is here. Oakland, in the blink of an eye, has a 4-1 lead. The big slugger out of Duke strikes here.
Well, in 80 games last year, primarily against left-handed pitching, 274, 4 home runs. He's got that big swing, but you get him in the right spot. He got a pitch that he could drive, and he drove it into the Cleveland.
And a day that was sailing along for Andrew Heaney has hit a big bump in the road. And Oakland has punched 4 consecutive hits, the last of which is a 3-run homer. Baker, Heaney's over, gets the flip, but the damage is done. Got the first 2 outs, and then Oakland strikes for 4. Save list. Fryman up and out, a 3-run homer, and Oakland has a 4-1 lead. AT&T U-verse rewind. Oh, remember San Juan, Tommy?
Oh yeah,
2010. Remember Dan Uggla?
Oh yeah,
Uggla had a good time in San Juan. Marlins and Mets. That was a walk-off shot by Uggla. Who also homered down there in San Juan.
Well, that home run caused a lot of things to happen. If the game had remained 1-1, I'm sure Mike Redmond would have stayed with Andrew Heaney, whose pitch count was very low, to try to get another inning. But after the home run, because Heaney due up first, now he's going to go to the bench, and it's going to be Marcell Ozuna pinch hitting off Malone, who feels a lot better out there now with a 3-run lead.
Well, this game is actually following to script in the series. Miami finds itself down. They're down 3 here. Of course, yesterday they fell behind 4-0 and climbed out of that hole to take the lead. Got to extra innings and lost. And remember, Miami rallied in the 6th inning on Friday. That also was to take the lead after they were down big.
In this series, to your point, Rich, the Athletics 5 different times have put together 3 consecutive hits.
Dan Jennings in Miami's bullpen. Ozuna takes up. Ozuna did running today. The hamstring appears to be all right. Off day tomorrow. Still will be interesting to see when he comes back if he's in center field or left field.
I think if there's any little issue with the hamstring, he'd be in left field. But I think he might be there anyway, would be my guess.
Malone's 3-2. Ozuna cracks one right field and deep. Moss back and gone.
Take it easy on the hammy. Take it easy. And here come the fish.
Marcell Ozuna with a pinch hit homer, and Miami cuts the lead down to 2.
Well, his approach was exactly the way the right-handers should be approaching Malone the entire game. Pitch out over the plate, can't try to pull him, and he takes it the other way. He has that kind of power.
Now it's up to the top of the order with Yelich, Johnson, and Stanton. Yelich, a breaking ball, right field. Park will hold it. Moss is there and he makes the catch. 1 out here in the 6th. Marlins and Phils on a Wednesday night at 7:10, and it's a Chevron Crazy 8 night. Visit a participating Chevron to fill up the Chevron with Techron gasoline. Bring your receipt to the ticket office. Get up to 60% off lower level tickets. Restrictions apply. So this Wednesday, Phillies and Marlins. Here's Reed Johnson. Albert Chen on SportsIllustrated.com today, writing a nice article on underappreciated players that deserve all-star consideration.
I hope Cishek was on that list.
He was not. Sean Doolittle is on that list for Oakland, but Marcell Ozuna was on that list.
All right.
Jam shot, and Punto makes the play at first. Malone bounces back and gets a couple outs. Here comes Stanton. Ozuna now 14 homers, 47 runs driven in.
And in this game today, the Marlins beginning the official second half. Today's the 82nd game of the season.
And this man has appeared in all 81. Casey McGee has appeared in 80. Marcell Ozuna now in 80. That's a rocket, but it's foul. Look out there.
To give you an idea how Malone has worked, you don't consider him a sinker ball pitcher, but he's got 12 outs on the ground. And a lot of that's because the off-speed stuff has had guys out in front.
Ozuna went to right field to get his home run. Stanton has walked and bounced out. Stanton drives it right center field. Moss chasing, gets there, makes the catch at the track. He put a charge in it. And it dies on the warning track. Marcell Ozuna brings Miami within 2.
Waging war with a law, gonna be regrettable. People like you are so easily forgettable. Playing against me, son, your talents ain't accessible. I'm a professional. Did you think that it was ethical to come against the great? Need to be a bit respectable. Now it's time to speak. Think of this as a confessional. Boy, I see you weak, that's your style is detectable. Only good at one thing, that means you're one-dimensional. My skills are impeccable, to you incomprehensible. Put me on a pedestal so you can get a better view of perfection. I'm a ball.
Nate Fryman with a big 3-run homer. Oakland on top of Miami. 4-2 ball game. Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine, Rich Waltz with you on a Sunday, a kid Sunday, as we celebrate 75 years of Little League Baseball. Big inning for Oakland, and it knocks Andrew Heaney out of the ball game. Dan Jennings just called up from New Orleans, takes over, and Jennings will get the bottom third of the order in the 7th.
And the Marlins, Rich, offensively, just with 3 base hits, the triple by Yelich, a single in the 3rd inning by Jeff Mathis, and then the Ozuna home run.
Jennings will start the inning. You see his ERA is under 1, and obviously that's a good sign. The issue with Jennings out of the bullpen for the Marlins, inherited runners. A lot of the inherited runners scored, and that's not reflected in the ERA because those were not his earned runs.
And for a middle reliever, I always think that's a really important statistic, those inherited runners, because they're coming in so many times with men on base.
Inherited 14 runners, 8 of them scored, and so obviously he knows that, something he went down to work on, and an opportunity here to start a clean inning. Punto has a pair of hits. Stephen Vogt and then Tommy Malone due up for Oakland. Both managers have arms in their bullpens they will stay away from in this ball game, and if you just go back and look at number of innings worked in this series, you can probably discern who it might be. I would suspect that Sean Doolittle, the closer for Oakland,
I think he's off limits today.
Is off limits. AJ Ramos for the Marlins probably not available, and Brian Morris has had a big workload as well. He's probably not available for the Fish.
Dan Otero may not be available for Bob Melvin.
He worked a couple of innings on Saturday and 1 inning on Friday. So as this ball game gets into the 7th, 8th, and 9th, we'll be curious to see who is available and how each manager works around some heavy workloads in the pen. Punto lines it foul.
Nick Punto, one of those guys, Rich, 36 years old, had a really nice career. A lot of that time with the Twins. He was 7 years with the Twins. One of those guys that does all the little things correctly. Switch hitter.
Punto played on a world championship team in St. Louis. Ended up in Boston. He was part of that mega deal. Remember when we were in Los Angeles and the Dodgers and the Red Sox pulled off the big deal? And the big deal included some enormous names. Josh Beckett, Adrian Gonzalez, Carl Crawford. Punto was also in that deal. And I remember we were in L.A. and the Red Sox players arrived in Los Angeles to flashbulbs and photographs. They all got out of the car looking for the big names, and there was Nick Punto along with Gonzalez.
If I remember, they held a press conference. If something's going on down here on the field, they held a press conference after the game down on the field at Dodger Stadium.
Joe West came to the mound. Somebody was hit in the seats by that foul ball. And so it looks like the medical folks are coming down to tend to that person. Marlins Live pregame is brought to you by South Florida Honda dealers. Phillies are in town. A fun matchup. A.J. Burnett and Henderson Alvarez are slated to go on the Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's the same matchup we had in Philly. Marlins won that game 3-2. Henderson Alvarez, the winning pitcher.
Jennings will continue to warm up. Mike Redmond and the Marlins in the last 3 ball games have been through a lot. You can see the Oakland players also looking down that right field line. The delay right now for a pair of fans, it appears, that were hit in the seats, and that area obviously very close to the field,
and that's why there's a delay, because there's so many people down that way assisting with their backs to the field.
It's an area, Tommy, and someday I think you'll see it. I saw it in Japan in the World Baseball Classic. There are nets, just like the home plate screen, that run from the home plate screen all the way on top of the dugouts, all the way down the right field line.
I know there's some ballparks that we visit that have those screens during batting practice.
None in Major League Baseball have them during the game.
Yeah.
And even some of the seats that jut out in Japan, they have boxes underneath the seats with helmets and gloves if the fans want to put those on and use them.
And you think about some of the older Wrigley Field and Fenway Park, how close the seats, and especially how it juts out in left field and in right field at Fenway.
So Jennings will continue to throw.
Boy,
here in the 7th.
Saw the shot of Andrew Heaney. A tough day because he threw the ball so well through the first 5 innings, and they got 2 outs in the 6th. everything happened with 2 out. The 4 consecutive hits, 3 singles, and then the big home run by Fryman. Even with the 3 singles at that time, it was a 1-1 game. And had he been able to handle Fryman, who just joined the Athletics today, was just called up, had he been able to handle him, totally different story.
And you think about Heaney and his starts, and in all 3 of his big league starts, it's been the long ball that's hurt him, from David Wright's homer in the 1st inning, Marlon Byrd's 1st inning homer, and here Fryman with the 3-run shot. Medical personnel continue down the first base line to tend to a fan. It appeared as if there were a couple of fans hit by that ball off the bat of Punto. One of the fans was let off under their own power. Punto obviously feels as bad as anybody.
If you're Nick Punto, you feel helpless. As everybody is around, just hoping everything's going to be all right.
Oakland on top in this ball game 4-2. If you're just joining us, there's a delay. I think Punto hitting a ball down the first base line, and a couple of fans apparently struck Joe West, the first base umpire, stopped play because medical personnel have kind of spilled out on the field to tend to the fan. We'll take a timeout and step away. 4-2 Oakland here in the 7th. Watching and certainly, I'm sure, hoping that the fan who was hit by that foul ball is okay. One of the fans was taken away about 5 minutes ago and walked out on their own power. This fan being taken down the first base line in a wheelchair towards, I believe, an ambulance.
Yes, I believe there is out there.
Medical transportation is standing by down that right field corner. Punto will climb back in the box. Dan Jennings is on the mound for Miami. Andrew Heaney started this ball game and was masterful until Oakland, with 2 outs in the 6th, cobbled together 3 singles and then a blast by Nate Fryman, the big right-hander who eats lefties for lunch and was just brought up with the injury to Josh Reddick. He sent a 3-run homer into the Clevelander, and Oakland suddenly had a 4-1 lead. Marcell Ozuna with a pinch hit homer to make it 4-2. But Heaney's day is done. Jennings trying to get through the bottom third of the order against Oakland here in the 7th. And it's obviously can't be an easy task for Punto to climb back in. We hope, certainly, and pray that the fans that were struck are okay. The count is 3-2. Jennings was allowed to throw during this break of about 7 to 8 minutes. Three-two pitch coming. Fastball struck him out. So Punto goes down. Stephen Vogt comes up.
One of the areas, and this is a good fastball by Dan Jennings, goes in by Punto, where Jennings gets in trouble is falling behind. He has put away stuff. He has swing and miss stuff. But so many times he's 2-0, 3-1, where guys can sit on certain pitches.
Now it's Vogt, and there's a good example. It's
For
1-0.
For Dan Jennings, one of the most important things somebody could say to him, the best pitch you can have is strike one. First pitch strike. Ball 2, 2-0.
Tommy Milone, Oakland's lefty, is the last lefty standing, I guess, between the Heaney-Milone matchup. He's at a very comfortable 73 pitches. Bo pops it up. Who's going to get it? McGee on the mound makes the catch. And so 2 outs here in the 7th. Time now for the AT&T fan photo. Tweet your photo and hashtag it FL fan photo, and the blue ribbon panel of judges might select it. Ed is the winner. Ed, little old school jersey and a new school cap. There's Milone. Jennings a strike. As Tommy pointed out, Milone has homered in his big league career, his first major league at bat.
And Milone only had 5 starts in September 2011 with the Nationals. And then he was involved in that trade that we were talking about earlier, coming to Oakland. One of those starts was against the Marlins at Pro Player. And he did not fare that well. Gave up 7 hits and 3 runs. Logan Morrison took him deep.
Breaking ball, and a tapper Solano's way. Gets the out at first. Jennings works a 1-2-3 7th inning stretch. Miami down a couple.
scared of the ball, so I always wanted to quit. My parents convinced me to, like, one more game, like one more shot. Like, if you get a hit, we'll give you $5. I think I just, like, nicked one and it went like 5 feet. I got my hit, I got my $5, and for some reason after that, just wasn't scared of the ball anymore. And, you know, it's probably a good thing I didn't quit. That first inning out on the field, or your first major league at bat, you know, it's something that you've worked for and dreamed about since I was 4 years old.
Christian Yelich and the Miami Marlins. You can catch the dream. In fact, hashtag your memory on Twitter at Catch the Dream. 75 years of Little League Baseball today, celebrated on a Kid Sunday. Miami and Oakland, what has been a rip-roaring 3-game series. Unfortunately for Miami, they haven't had the last roar. They're the ones that end up losing the ball game on Friday night. Oakland had a 4-run ninth against one of the best closer in the National League, and Steve Cishek. And of course yesterday, a 14-inning marathon in which both teams went back and forth, had their opportunities to win it, only to have Oakland win it by a run.
Listening to Christian Yelich, you were telling me a great Little League memory for yourself.
Little League for me.
Championship game, right?
I played 1 year Little League. We had different leagues in Martinez, California. But when I was 12, I did play Little League. Lippo Hall was the team. We won. We tied for first in the league, so it was a 1-game playoff, and the whole town was there.
Sudden death.
Sudden death. Bottom of the 6th. Runner at third, 1 out. I was up, and I dropped down a bunt down the first base line to drive in the game winner. We won it.
You had the green light.
I had the green light.
Bunt anytime.
I was a bunter and a slasher at 3'8" or however tall I was at that time.
Lippo Hall. What was Lippo Hall?
Insurance then.
I was a little bit of a power hitter because, you see, I was a little chunky as an 11-year-old. I think 10, 11-year-old there for Lincoln Savings. First baseman, left-handed hitter, pitched.
Now that time, as you played, I would expect you had wooden bats.
We did.
And did you guys get to wear metal cleats?
We did. We didn't get to wear metal cleats till the next league, till the 13, 14, 15-year-old league.
See, the league I played in before the league, we had metal cleats. And that I had to go out and buy the plastic ones, the 1-year Little League.
But we did have a fence, and that was great.
We had a fence. You know, the big thing in our Little League in Martinez, California, which is in the San Francisco Bay Area, a lot of kids would come to the games because they had a rule: if you caught a foul ball and returned it to the snack shack, you get to choose a hot dog, a snow cone. So there were some kids that would spend every night there.
That's a good deal. I like that.
There's Casey McGee. McGee takes a fastball outside. Now Miami tries to chip away at this 2-run lead with McGee, Ed Lucas, and Jeff Baker.
Boy, Malone has been consistent all afternoon, just mixing it up, changing speeds enough. Not too many balls have been really hit hard. The ones that have resulted in the scoring. Yelich's triple, Ozuna's home run.
Breaking ball doesn't come far enough. It's 2-1 to McGee. McGee has bounced out twice. In fact, once was a double play. And Malone has helped himself out defensively. Lucas on deck. McGee trying to get a board here. And he does. McGee walks. Leadoff walk in the 7th. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service, and it's celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game streamed live online or on the go in true HD. Go to Marlins.com for details.
Well, you want to get things going with a base runner, so the Marlins have that base runner. Just like that, they get the tying run to the plate.
Ground ball outs for Malone. That's what you want to stay away from here. It is a ground ball and a double play.
You know, Malone Rich has been just one of those guys who's a winner. He had 3 straight years in the minor leagues, from A-ball, AA, AAA. Each year he won 12 games.
Liner into right center. That's a base hit. And McGee around second, on his way to third. He will get there. Lucas with a hit. First and third. Here comes Baker.
Here come the fish again. And this is what has just been so exciting, but also so deflating at times. Great job by Ed Lucas. Super job by McGee going first to third. Even though Coco Crisp isn't out there, Gentry has a much better arm. But he's playing deep. McGee knew where he was playing and was able to make it to third.
Well, you're absolutely right. It has been exhilarating at times watching this series for the Marlins. Catching up, taking the lead, getting big hits. But exasperating at the same time, not being able to get the job done and finish. They're down 2 here in the 7th. Baker had a big hit early in the series, and he fouls it back. He's bounced out, and he's flied out. Infield is back for 2. Oakland will give up the run for a shot at 2 outs. Baker drives it right center. It's deep. Gentry on the run, makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is McGee. Wow, Jeff Baker clobbered that ball. Miami is within a run. Lucas is still at first.
Boy, he drove that ball well. Got a pitch up. Malone hasn't left many pitches up in that area. But Gentry, really good speed. We've talked about that. He's able to cover the ground. Kind of in between. It's a tough call for Ed Lucas, the runner at first. You'd say, well, he could have gone back and tagged up. Well, you know what? You go halfway because that ball could drop. If it drops, you might score.
Kurt Young is on his way out. Fernando Abad in the bullpen. Young has been the Oakland pitching coach for a long time. Bob Melvin took over in 2011, but Young has been around and seen a lot of great pitchers and worked with them and helped them.
He was actually there in the Hudson, Zito, Mulder days, wasn't he?
The big 3.
Yeah.
Now Solano, and keep in mind, Malone has a terrific move to first.
With that great move, with Malone being around the plate all day, you have a hit and run combo. Solano, good bat control. But if you're the runner, you can't get picked off. You have to wait till he delivers, and if Solano doesn't protect you, you're going to get thrown out.
There's the move to first. That's not the A move.
So on this celebration of Little League on Kids Sunday, kids need to remember that when you advance, if it's a hit and run, your objective as a runner is not to get a huge lead and jump. Just be on the move. Don't get picked off.
Ball and a strike to Solano. Just a wild ride of a series with Miami and Oakland. But it's been Oakland on Friday and then yesterday that has ended up with a win. One coming to Solano. The Marlins coming into this ball game played 37 innings of heartbreak baseball. They had the lead in Philly on Thursday night. An error sent him into extras. Chase Utley walked off with a win in the 14th. Miami had the lead Friday against Oakland. Athletics tied it in the 8th and then pushed across 4 against Steve Cishek to win it in the 9th. And of course, yesterday's 14th inning tussle with big hits and big moments on both sides. Oakland won that one by a run. Solano fouls it back. It's 2-2.
Solano trying to stay back, taking a shot at the right side, that hole open. You eliminate any hit and run thought now with 2 strikes.
Jeff Baker's sacrifice fly has brought Miami within 1. Tommy Malone with 1 out here in the 7th. The 2-2. Solano fouls it back. And in the 2.5 games that we've seen, virtually every player in either dugout has had a big moment, a big hit, a great play.
That's a great point. That's absolutely amazing, too, because it doesn't always happen that way.
Solano, some great defense and some big hits. 2-2. Pulls that one foul.
Malone tried to cross him up, come inside with a cut fastball, and Solano was ready for it. He pulled it foul.
Even a guy that didn't start the series here, who arrived today, has had a big moment, and that's Nate Fryman. Up from AAA, Fryman, who, as Oakland does so well, platooned last year against lefties, a 3-run homer against Andrew Heaney. Check swing. Did he go? Oh, Joe West says he did. And Solano goes down. Here comes Mathis. There's 2 outs.
In fact, that fastball was up. His eyes lit up. He wanted to jump on it, and then realized it was too high, and he just couldn't hold back.
Well, that's close. So now Mathis.
The other thing, Rich, with the short bench that Mike Redmond has, other than Saltalamacchia, the 2 pinch hitters are both left-handed hitters, Dietrich and Jones.
Abad, the lefty, is in Oakland's pen right now. Dietrich grabbing a helmet and a bat. Pitcher spot due up next. Lucas still at first. 2 outs. For a guy that hasn't had a lot of regular at-bats, Mathis over the last week has swung it quite well.
He's had some nice moments in this series.
2 home runs on the season. Miami's reserve catcher. And a 1-1. 1-2. The result of the 2 games in this series has kept Oakland with the best record in baseball. 20 over at 50-30. Their lead at 4.5 over Los Angeles, and it's dropped Miami to 4 back in the East.
And 3 under 500 since the middle of April.
In the dirt.
April 27. Marlins lost 4-0 to the Mets in New York. They fell to 11-14. That's the last time they were 3 games under.
Vogt on his way out to talk to Malone. Marlins haven't tipped their hand yet with Jennings in the on-deck circle. Two. It's down, and another good at bat by Mathis. The count now 3-2.
Yeah, Jennings just there for show, and maybe to help a base runner if there's a play at the plate.
He's got the weight on the bat.
Oh yeah, taking some practice cuts.
No batting gloves though. Dead giveaway. Lucas has to be careful. He'll be running on the 3-2 with 2 outs. Mathis, a ground ball. Diving stop. Callaspo got him. Wow. Alberto Callaspo, full extension, gets Mathis. And the Marlins will have to settle for a run and trail it 4-3.
In with the game summary. There's a leadoff triple by Christian Yelich. He came in to score on the throwing error by Callaspo. 1-0 Fish. Josh Donaldson took care of the lead. A base hit, tied at 1-1. How about Nate Freeman? The big guy just called up a 3-run shot. Just like that, it was 4-1 Oakland. But the Marlins keep fighting back. There's a pinch hit home run off the bat of Marcell Ozuna to make it a 4-2 ball game. And then a sac fly in the 7th inning from Jeff Baker. That made it a 4-3 ball game. It's been that kind of series. It's been that kind of weekend. I'd say hang on for this one.
Tommy, there appears to have been about 20 seconds ago either a power surge or something that hit the building, and some lights have gone out here at Marlins Park. There was a long delay for a couple of fans that were hit by a foul ball, and now some lights here at Marlins Park flickered and went down. Bob Melvin, skipper of the Athletics, has come out to talk to the crew chief, Joe West. You would think facilities people.
That appears to be over on this first base side.
And there's a quartet over on the left field side on either end of the bank of lights that are out as well.
Yeah, kind of up above us.
I think they're just going to keep playing here. I think there's enough light without the lights that have gone out to continue to play, but we'll see. But I'm not a lighting expert, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night.
That's right. Yeah, you did.
Candle power. I remember in the minor leagues that was a big deal. What was the candle power of your ballpark?
Yeah, well, you heard in some of our great segments the guys talking about their Little League experiences. You heard Giancarlo talking about the lights and how that reminded him of his Little League days.
So they play on. Craig Gentry. And Jennings opens with a fastball that's up. This is the top of the order for Oakland. Jennings able to come back and pitch because Alberto Callaspo made a terrific play to rob Mathis of a hit and get the ball game to the 8th with Oakland up 4-3.
In this series, it seems like when the Athletics have needed a big hit, they've gotten it. When they've needed a big play, they've made it. When they've needed a big pitch, they've made it. I guess that's how you put together the best record in baseball.
Gentry pulled back. Counts 2-1. And that's not just this year, Tommy. They won the West last year. They won the West in 2012. McGee up on his tiptoes to get it. Nice footwork by Baker at first.
It's one of those cases McGee knew as soon as he caught this ball. There are some hitters you can take a little more time, but Gentry has good speed, so he had to come down, plant, and throw right away.
Who was the first baseman to do that, to come across the bag like that?
Oh, I don't know. I remember seeing it. I remember doing it. Don't know if I can tell you who was first.
McGee. 2 quick ground balls to third. Nice work by Dan Jennings. If you're just joining us, this was an Andrew Heaney, Tommy Malone lefty on lefty matchup. And both lefties look good early. The Marlins got a run right out of the chute, had a 1-0 lead on a Yelich triple and a wild throw. And we're cruising. Heaney had 2 outs in the 6th. Gave up 3 consecutive hits. Callaspo, Cespedes, Donaldson. Donaldson drove in a run. And then Nate Fryman blasted one into the Clevelander. The tall, lanky first baseman out of Duke.
Job well done by Dan Jennings.
Marlins go to their bullpen. Down a run. Come in to face Yoenis Cespedes. Miami and Oakland matched up again in a tight one.
Nice job by Kevin Gregg since the Marlins signed him to just kind of solidify that bullpen a little bit.
Originally drafted in the 15th round in 1996 by the Oakland Athletics was Kevin Gregg. Things didn't quite work out in Oakland, and he was granted free agency after spending a long time in the minor leagues. But the Angels knew about him, and the Angels signed him, and that's where his career took off. He had a nice run in Anaheim's talented bullpen. The Marlins traded for him. Chris Resop went to the Angels. Miami then traded Greg to the Cubs after the 08 season. Cespedes gets into that one. Center field. Yelich has room. He's there, and he makes the catch. Miami's down a run. Bottom of the 8th. 4-3 Oakland. Fiddling with his lineup card, and there's not a whole lot there. The Marlins have a short bench. They're banged up in the bullpen. He's probably got 2, maybe 3 relievers he needs to stay away from. And he's down by a run to the best team in baseball, the Oakland Athletics. Fernando Abad is out of Oakland's bullpen.
And with the diminishing bench, Mike Redmond will pinch hit a left-handed bat against the lefty Abad. So Garrett Jones in the on-deck circle. So Abad will face back-to-back lefties with Jones and then Christian Yelich.
And it's really, I mean, you look at what the Marlins have been through over the last 3 ball games. You can understand why the bench is short, because the Marlins have played so many extra inning ball games. There have been so many arms that all of a sudden they are unavailable. They've had to shuttle guys up and down from New Orleans. And with 2 or 3 guys in the bullpen right now that can't work, you're kind of caught betwixt and between, aren't you? It's nobody's fault. It's just the result of what the ball club's been through.
You know, it's funny. You play 162 games. There's usually a period for every team similar to this. You might not have the losses the Marlins have, but you have those periods of time where you're going to have some extra inning games, where the bullpen's going to be overused, and moves are going to have to be made.
So Jones climbing in as a pinch hitter. You've got Yelich, then Reed Johnson, and if anybody gets on, Stanton. And because of Johnson and Stanton, Ryan Cook is up.
He's probably getting ready, if not for Johnson, for sure for Stanton.
And Jones smacks one into center field for a base hit.
All right.
How about that? Marlin pinch hitters in the 9th spot. Ozuna, a solo homer. Jones against the lefty, a solid single up the middle.
Garrett Jones has lately had better at bats against lefties, and boy, he took care of a high fastball He'd seen some breaking balls, and a bat went upstairs, and Jones was all over it.
Now Yelich.
So again, you aren't in a position to pinch run. You can't do any of that.
Oakland's infield looks for 2. Yelich tripled, has bounced into a fielder's choice and hit a deep fly ball out to right. Oakland's outfield is extremely deep. And a pad catches the corner. An inning yesterday from a bad, and it was scoreless. Pitched the 7th. Oh, 0-2.
Well, he's given Yelich a couple of fastballs.
Hatcher and Cishek. Hit hard. There's 1. There's 2. And Oakland gets the double play.
And the hit hard part was right. And unfortunately, that's the only way you're going to double up Christian Yelich. Is a hard hit ball. Good swing, hard hit, but Nick Punto right there. 2 hops, a flip and a throw, and that's it.
Reed Johnson now. An 0 for 3 day. All 3 of the at-bats against the lefty Tommy Milone. Another lefty here. If Johnson reaches, you would expect Cook in the game to face Stanton. Strike, and it's a ball and a strike. Now the Dominican Republic is Fernando Abad. Was with Washington last year, 39 appearances and an ERA in the low 3s. Long time in the Houston organization.
Good fastball and slider, and we've seen a number of fastballs in this inning.
Miami would love to get Stanton up here with a runner on. At the very least, he is going to hit before this ball game ends. Bottom 8, 2 outs, 1-2. He has seen him twice and hit him twice. Swing and a miss. Ball gets loose. Johnson racing for first, and he's going to get there. A break for Miami, and here comes Stanton. And I would expect Oakland would make a pitching change.
Ball gets out of the glove of the catcher, Stephen Vogt. Pass ball, and alertly, a lot of hitters don't pick this up right away. Alertly, Reed Johnson saw where that ball was, raced on to first. There wasn't even a play.
Here comes Bob Melvin, and he is going to get the right-hander to face Stanton. Tying runs at first. Stanton coming to the plate with 2 outs in the 8th.
All-Star game and All-Star week, we'll have a chance to catch a Giancarlo Stanton ball. Our friend and Marlins beat writer Joe Frisaro, one of the top stories right now on MLB.com, saying that Giancarlo has confirmed that he will participate in the home run derby. It'll be the first time in his career. You remember a couple of years ago, he had that knee surgery right before the All-Star game. Would have been on Matt Kemp's All-Star team for the derby in 2012. Should be exciting, guys. Big moment in the game, and we'll see Stanton in Minneapolis.
Thank you, Craig. Oakland going deeper to their pen now. Ryan Cook, who has appeared in both games, Friday and on Saturday, and both times, Tommy, he faced Stanton.
Yeah, good news. Stanton's seen him. He singled off him one time. Cook got him the next time, struck him out. But Stanton has seen him. He knows what his stuff is.
Reed Johnson at first. First pitch, fastball strike. Stanton riding a 9-game hit streak, has not extended it, and he won't with that either. Cook gets the glove down, gets Stanton, and Miami is done in the 8th, still down a run. In Philly, and the 2 games of this series, the Marlins are down a run going to the 9th. Chris Hatcher, who's been utilized a lot for the Marlins. Hatcher comes in. It was Hatcher who was the guy that had to stretch it out on Thursday. He went 2 1/3 innings, and he did give up the 2-run homer by Chase Utley.
Yeah, that was a gutty performance. It was tough for Hatcher to take the loss because he'd done such a good job. Boy, his numbers, I think it stands at the 22 strikeouts, just 2 walks in his 18 1/3 innings.
Josh Donaldson, first up for Hatcher. Throws a strike. Donaldson, Nate Fryman, and Brandon Moss. The Marlins trying to get to the bottom of the 9th and keep it a 1-run game. McGee, Lucas, Baker for Miami. Marlins do have both Dietrich and Saltalamacchia as pinch hitting possibilities, and it's quite probable that it's Ryan Cook who's going to come out and pitch the 9th. Sean Doolittle, one of the relievers that we expect is off limits for Oakland, and he's not warming up. That would indicate it's Cook. This is Lucas. Donaldson,
boy, he didn't go up the line very fast. Something could be wrong after his swing.
And he is out.
Tom Kohler's throwing in the bullpen, but I think just getting some work because Kohler is the Wednesday starter. And sometimes he may have been told, hey, hold off. We may need you in this game. And now it's gotten to a point where he's getting his work in between starts, getting ready for Wednesday night.
You know what? They may still need him in this game.
I'm just thinking as I'm saying that the way things have gone.
Here's Fryman.
Boy, there are so many things when you delve into the numbers of the Athletics. You and I have been talking about them, the way they bunch together hits. 5 times in this series they've had 3 hits in a row. They got the 3-run homer from Fryman. That's their 16th 3-run homer of the year. They lead the major leagues in that department. So just another area.
They have one of the best managers in baseball in Bob Melvin. And Fryman swings and misses. Hatcher looks sharp. He's got 2 outs. And here comes Moss. The problem, and another thing watching Oakland in this 3-game set, Tommy, getting 2 outs against Oakland doesn't mean you're out of the inning. How many times has Oakland started a rally with 2 outs? They did it in the 6th.
Did it in the 6th inning.
That's it was 2 outs. Andrew Heaney was sailing, and then 3 consecutive singles. That produced 1 run. Fryman blasted a 3-run homer.
2 outs last night in the 14th when Moss doubled and was driven home by Donaldson's base hit.
Hatcher working quickly and effectively. Out in front 0-2. Phillies are in here on Tuesday. At home are the Phils, but trailing Atlanta 3-2 in the top of the 7th.
Hey, the 2 Philadelphia runs have been solo shots by Marlon Byrd.
The shift, McGee right there. 1-2-3 ninth. Miami needs a run. Bottom of the 9th. 4-3 Oakland. Tuesday night with the Phillies in town, social media night. Buy a $20 baseline reserve ticket. Get a limited edition Marlins t-shirt. A pregame Marlins Park tour with the Marlins social media department and the opportunity to take over the Marlins Twitter account in-game. Visit marlins.com/social media for tickets. It's down to this. Oakland's closer,
rally caps are on,
is off limits, and so Ryan Cook will try to close. Cook, an all-star a couple seasons removed, gets Casey McGee, Ed Lucas, and Jeff Baker. McGee, diving stop, Punto on his feet in the dirt, and it gets by. McGee is aboard. He'll probably get a hit.
Boy, you saw Punto make that grab, and your heart just sunk a little deeper because you said there's another big play by an Oakland Athletic. It should be a base hit.
Punto had to scramble and throw, and Fryman couldn't pick it.
Well, I'm not going to go nuts now because they've given Punto an error because this is too important part of the game, but that's ridiculous.
So here's Lucas with McGee at first. Lucas squares and tries to bunt and fouls it off. Lucas is single back in the 7th. Popped up the bunt, and it's foul. Fastball was up and in. Lucas reacted, and suddenly he's behind the count 0-2.
He just couldn't get out of the way. I mean, you know it's not a squeeze. I mean, a squeeze, you have to bunt it wherever it is, but that ball was coming right at him. And just like that, it's 0-2.
Tommy, I didn't write E6 in the book. I just put infield hit, and they've changed it to an infield hit.
Well, as it should be.
More importantly, it's 0-2 to Lucas. And he just stays alive. He fouled that ball off the very end of his bat. There have been so many heroes and so many big moments in these 3 games against Oakland. But for Miami, an empty feeling at the end of every game. Down a run here in the bottom of the 9th. Two still.
Mainly fastballs and sliders from Cook.
McGee at first. Which is how Cook wanted it. You saw him shout, probably curse, into his glove. Here's a look, and on Fox Tracks, wow, that's close.
That's close. Could have been called a strike. We have seen that.
And Lucas, fortunate here,
will live again.
Yes. The thinnest of margins. 1-2. The dirt. So the count goes 2-2, and Lucas has seen just about everything Cook features. Three double plays have helped Oakland's defense today.
Good line fastball from Ryan Cook.
Lucas putting up quite a fight. Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming. McGee the tying run at first. Lucas, a little ground ball. Fryman goes to second for one, and the relay not in time. Lucas beats it. McGee is out.
Just trying to protect the plate. Rolls it to the big first baseman, Nate Fryman. No chance for double play.
Now Jeff Baker. Lucas at first. And a quick throw. Lucas dives back in. Sean Doolittle off limits. Not only is Cook trying to close the game, he's looking for a 4-out save. He got Stanton to finish the 8th. Up to Baker, who blasted one to the wall in right center for a sacrifice fly in the 7th. Solano and then Mathis.
No saves this year for Cook, but a couple of years ago, out of that Oakland bullpen, just a terrific year. 71 appearances, but had 14 saves in 2012.
That was his all-star season. Stephen Vogt now to talk to Cook. As you mentioned, the Marlins do have a couple of left-handed bats at their disposal. Derek Dietrich and the switch hitter, Jared Saltalamacchia. There's Dietrich with a bat. 2-1.
Here's the irony of this series. Such a terrific closer as Sean Doolittle. Oakland didn't need him the first game of this series. Jeff Francis got the save last night. His first ever.
And of course, Doolittle pitched on Friday. Came in, it wasn't a safe situation. He looked untouchable. And then he came in yesterday with a 1-run lead, and the Marlins got to him. Stanton's double and McGee's single, and he blew a save. Francis is up, and that may be for Dietrich or for Saltalamacchia.
I think that would be a decoy. I think if Dietrich pinch hits, he'll stay with Cook. Bob Melvin will stay with Cook.
Swing and a miss. And Baker goes down. And it's up to Solano to keep the line moving.
Well, got a little bit of a hanger, too. Jeff Baker did. So Cook got away with one.
A strike. It's up, and it's 1-1. Miami's down to their last out. In a back and forth series, it has had so many big moments, but the Marlins have come up empty in both games. Here in this one, down a run. Solano flips it into the seats, and now Cook, looking for a 4-out save, is ahead of the count 1-2. Dietrich was on deck briefly. Jeff Mathis has replaced him on deck. 1-2 coming.
We haven't talked a lot about Adeiny Hechavarria in many ways because it just gives the bench more depth. How he's missed as well, plus the fact he was on a nice roll offensively. Got his batting average up to 270s.
Cook and Solano. Lucas the tying run at first. 1-2. Got him. And Cook shuts the door. And the Marlins come up empty again. A sweep by the Athletics. And as gut-wrenching a 3-game sweep as you can get for Miami. 4-3 the final. Oakland wins it.